have three parts of analysis for our management level and for our counselors. We have a short-term analysis. That means that our informations are updated every month, which is just representing the present, the current situation. Then we have a medium-term analysis, which is updated every half a year, and we have a long-term analysis, which is covered by our own research institute. The Federal Employment Agency is the major service provider on the labor market in Germany. We have our headquarters in the south of Germany. This is Germany. We have, I said, 100,000 people working for us in about 660 branch offices all over Germany. For the statistics, we have our headquarters in Nuremberg as well, and we have 5 regional statistic offices all over Germany. The headquarters is responsible for the strategies, the IT and the definitions, the methods of our statistic. So the regional statistic services are responsible for the information for the local partners and the regional partners. Where do our data come from? Most of our data come from our IT systems. That means our employment agencies, which are responsible for those who are short-term unemployed, and our joint facilities, which are responsible for our long-term unemployed, fill in the data in our IT systems. Then we have municipalities bringing information into our IT systems, and of course employers. The data from the employers we get from the pension fund. So everyone who's working in Germany has to pay to the pension fund, and the pension fund is giving the information to us. So we can use all these data about the salary, about the working hours, about the start and the end of a job. We can all use it for our labor market information system. But altogether, we have too much information for us, so nobody can really work with this information. So we introduced a section that is called labor market information. And their duty is to analyze, summarize, and visualize data. So the products of our labor market information, we have every month a press conference where we launch the data for the last month. Like Belgium, we're taking the data from the 15th and publishing that on the 1st of the next month. So we have press conferences in the headquarters, in the regional departments, and on the local level, so that press, media, and our network partners are well informed about the current situation on the labor market. We have an analysis in the internet. That means we have a portal of our statistics service. At the moment, we have approximately 400,000 information, like charts, like analysis, documents in our database, which is free to use for everyone. We have 2 apps to use on iPad or a mobile device. We have a newsletter where we cover all topics we are working with at the moment. So the subject-oriented things like minimum wage, refugees at the moment, or the development of salaries. We have brochures and flyers, and we have visualizations. And that would be the point where I would go to the Excel sheet. It's not on this computer.
I downloaded this one.
Oh, it takes long to open. So we have, and our colleague from Saudi Arabia mentioned, capacity with software engineers. So we have 2 different versions of labor market information. And one of it is Excel-based, because we have more people who are able to work with Excel than to Perfect.
It's this one, right?
Yes, it's still working. And this database is updated every month as well. So we use Excel to combine and visualize our data.
This one.
So and this would be exactly perfect. And I'd just like to show you some parts of it because some parts are quite similar to what we've seen before. So in this version, you have the possibility. You don't have the possibility at the moment, but usually you have the possibility to enter every occupation you have in Germany and see the development of this occupation. So this is very important for our counselors. So you can fill in a plumber and then you see how many unemployed persons you have in Germany or in your region, how many vacancies do you have and how this developed through the last month or years. I tried again. And when you fill you fill in the occupation, then you'll have an overview of complete Germany and you see where the situation is different. So you have the map of Germany and then you see when it's darker, the need for this occupation is bigger than in other regions. So perhaps for a plumber, we very much need plumbers in the very north of Germany. But when you go to the eastern part, we don't need it that much. So a recommendation for our customers could be, if you want to stay in your occupation, you can move to another part of Germany, and there your skills are needed more than in this region. And then we have the possibility, usually, to see how successful our training schemes are. That means in this Excel file, you see at the end, if you are a plumber and you went through a training, you see how the success rate after training is. So we have, in this example, 60% of all plumbers going through training are reintegrated into the labor market. But we have other occupations where we have like people working in an office going through training. The success rate is just 10%. So you can see, the counselor can see, is it worth investing into a training or not? So this tool is online, it's Excel, so you can download it. It's in German, unfortunately, but now it's not working, so I'll just go back to my presentation, but I will give the link into my presentation and afterwards you can have a look at it. Perhaps it's easier. So these are our two apps. So some parts of the tools I've just tried to present are in our apps as well. So you have a mobile device. When you're a manager, you can look at your mobile phone and say, okay, in my region, the unemployment rate dropped from last month to this month about 2%, and then you can go into detail. And if you have a discussion, you can have all data with you on your app, on your mobile device. This is just a picture of what I've wanted to show you. So this is the regional, the graphical version. So this is how long do we need to fill a vacancy in a certain occupation. In Bavaria, so in the south part of Germany, we need much longer to fill a vacancy. I think this is the medical part, as we do in the eastern part. So perhaps it would be good to look at the eastern part and find people moving to the southern part. So all these data are updated every month. So our counselors have absolutely timely and accurate data. Looking at the medium-term analysis, we are not using Excel any longer. We are going to an online portal. We are using the labor market monitor, we call it. This is an instrument for analyzing regional labor market developments and acting preventively together with networks. So my colleagues said before, we are not the only ones working in the labor market, but we are the ones who have the data, and we are responsible for making this data so clear that everyone can work with it. So we've prepared this online tool so that we can work with municipalities, with civil society organizations, with politicians, so everyone can really understand and follow the development of the labor market. So now I try to go into my online tool. This is not the front page, I just go to it. So in this portal, we have the possibility to look at the facts and figures of the labor market. So I will never do online presenting anymore. So next time I just do some screenshots. Then we have a networking system. That means you can be linked with other partners and use the same data. So that's what my colleague from Belgium said. It's not only about giving the data, but giving those data where others have questions too. So that means if we talk about rates of disabled people in a certain region, it's not that we have the answers, but we have the information to ask these questions. And all those who are working with this data have to find an answer in this group. Okay, this one's working, the other one's not. This one is one possibility to visualize developments on the labor market. So I just picked one municipality in Germany. So in this picture, all municipalities in Germany are one of these circles. So I took Uckermark, it's a really small rural area in Germany, and we will look at the share of people which are under 25. And then we can have a look how this developed during the last 10 years. And then you can see that the proportion of people under 25 in this region went down in a ratio that we don't have in other regions. So this would be a point to discuss with all the partners in the labor market and to find solutions, how we can cope with this situation. And we can do that for, at the moment, 45 indicators, all about labor market. The share of women in the labor market, the share of elderly in the labor market, the share of disabled people in the labor market, and so on and so on. Then we have another way of visualizing it, and it's this. So we see the people older than 50 in this picture, and I chose two municipalities. Kloppenburg is a rural area in the west part of Germany, and the other one is Uckermark again, so from the east part, rural area as well. And now we can have a look how those municipalities developed during the last 10 years in regards to the elderly population. So we see that Uckermark is going to the worst part. So the left part has the highest share of people over 50 in the labor market. So during the next 10 to 15 years, a lot of people will retire, and we need more people to enter the labor market. And in this region, as we've seen before, the ratio of people under 25 decreases so much that we will not have the possibility to have enough people entering the labor market when all those are leaving the labor market. So we have this portal to ask questions, to find common solutions with other partners in the labor market, because we have so many data in Germany. We need a simple version just to show what's going on at the moment, and then find solutions in a group with all partners on the labor market. So, and then, yes, 2 minutes, thank you. I will go back to my presentation. And then we have something which is quite close to what I've tried to show you in the Excel sheet. And this is a visualization of expected shortage of skilled workers. And this is just an easy way to show our partners in the labor market the development of certain occupations. So we see the ratio between unemployed and vacancies. We see the age of a certain population and the age in a certain occupation. That means we have occupations where nearly 50% of all people working in these occupations are over 45 or 50 years old. So there's just a really small share of people who are really young. So we need more youngsters to enter these occupations, to fill the vacancies when the other retire. We have the situation that we can show how many people are working full-time or part-time. So if we need more people working in an occupation, we can think about giving those persons the chance to work more hours that are working part-time at the moment. And we have the chance to see which gender is working in an occupation. So plumbers, I think we have 98% male workers. Then nurses, we have, I think, 85% female workers. So we can talk about strategies to find the other gender in this occupation. Then I have to skip the long-term analysis. We have our own research institute. That means if we have a subject that will be important for the future, we asked our research institute to make an analysis, a survey. So at the moment they are working really hard on the topic of migration and refugees, but we will have the data in 1 year. So this is just for topics that will be interesting for us for the next decade or for the next 5 to 6 years. So we have the possibility with the statistics to have every month new data. We have the possibility with the labor market monitor, a visualization of data every half a year. And we have the possibility to use our research institute, but that's more a long-term perspective. Thank you very much.